Good morning, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this Wednesday morning. It's nice and early, and welcome to Celtic Kelechi. Yes, he's done it, he's made it, he's done, he's in. Celtic did get him through the door, and Kasper Dolberg did ultimately end up going to Ajax late last night. It looked like that deal was going to fall through. They weren't prepared to pay the 10 million, and he ultimately wanted to go back home to Ajax. It's in the bed. We put it in the past. It's something that we will talk about, but let's get the positivity back with us Celtic fans, because let's face it, the squad is looking a little bit stronger this morning. We'll run through the squad before we talk about the morning news and where we actually go from here, and should there be some kind of demonstration against this PLC and the inadequacies that have obviously come up, because let's face it, this is a Brendan Rodgers signing. He's got on the phone to the guy. He's the one that's done the talking. He's the one that looks like that's got this one done. There is no way that anyone else at Celtic, it's the same as the Kasper Schmeichel one. Do you know, this is a Rodgers signing. And it's a get out of jail free card for Brendan. And for all those that said, Brendan's walking tomorrow, that's it, man. We're getting John Kennedy. And Sean Maloney. It's too early for music. The missus is still sleeping. But yeah, it's not happening. And I said last night it was doubtful. Brendan Rodgers is not going to walk out today. That's all I'm saying on the matter. Anyway, the squad, it is looking rather a little bit healthier now that we've got Kelechi in the door. But we look at Kasper Schmeichel, Sinisalo, Rosdohan. I still think that Sinisalo should be given more game time. I think Kasper Schmeichel is a fantastic keeper. It's a chat for another day. It's something that we can talk about over the next 2 weeks until Celtic return. 11 days now until Brendan Rodgers next needs to speak to the media. Everything they'll close down at Celtic, and they'll close ranks, and they'll hope that this goes away. We need to keep pressure on. We do need to keep the pressure on Celtic, and we do need answers. The fans cannot be treated like this. Brendan Rodgers ultimately cannot be treated like this. The Celtic manager cannot be scrambling around, picking up the phone to his going through his phone book saying, mate, how are you doing at your club? Is there any chance that you can rip your contract up and come to Celtic? Said no one ever. The guy had 4 years left on his contract or something? Anyway, we've got 3 fantastic keepers at Celtic to see us through the season. And I still think we'll win the league. Yes, we'll still win the league. Can we win the treble? Well, that will ultimately be the goal of the manager. And I think now that we've got a reasonably good striker in, we'll wait and see. He was good in the past, but all strikers go through bad spells. That's all I'm saying. In the defence of Celtic, we do have Alistair Johnston, who's out for 12 weeks, so he's out up until the Christmas time. We've got Jemai Simpson-Pusey, a Man United player. Oh, little Man United connections going on just now. But he's been brought in just purely as backup. Will he get game time in the cup games? Will he get game time in the cup run? If so, what was the point in actually bringing him to Celtic? Because he seems unable to displace. And one thing that I've noticed about the Celtic team right now, whilst they've brought in all the new players to the squad, the first team squad, there is still no place in the squad for Dane Murray. When you go to first team page on Celtic website, they've brought in all the new players. Maybe that'll change now that the squad's settled down, and they'll get their team picture taken, because we've not even had the team picture taken this season, and we're now into September the 3rd, and now that it's all settled down, Yang's been looking for Yang, because he's been yin and yanging out the door. Oh, that's enough of that. Anyway, Jemai Simpson-Pusey is in the squad as number 4, and Liam Scales is on number 5. Austin Trusty, with his mysterious little injury, he's on number 6. Cameron Carter-Vickers, number 20. Hateo Inamura, a player that was supposed to go out on loan, and that didn't happen. But he is at Celtic, so Brendan Rodgers will need to utilise the player. Young Colby Donovan isn't in the squad also. Marcelo, Tony Ralston, and our very own Kieran Tierney make up the defence. Colby Donovan will be brought in also to the squad, as will Dane Murray. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Dane Murray this year. And Colby Donovan, to be honest, because he's a fantastic young player. And let's face it, if Alistair Johnston hadn't been injured, the young lad would have been away out on loan. The injury has now scuppered that loan move, so it'll be good to see him get more game time and come on. And it could be one of those Liam Scales moments at Celtic for the young lad. He might just grab it by the throat and go, do you know what, Tony, I know you're older than me, and I know I wouldn't try it, but I'm going to be a better player than you, and I'm going to try and knock you out the team, mate. Sorry, big man. Ha! Robson's like that. Just goes through the brick wall rather than go walking out the door. In the midfield, we have Benji, who will be the number 8 position, like Calmac. He will sit in the holding midfield. He's not a winger. We can put that to bed now. He's not a winger. He will sit in the formation that we're going to go through, and people say it's a 4-3-3. It's not a 4-3-3. It'll be a 4-2-3-1 formation. It may look a 4-3-3 at points, but when it comes to in a European context, Brendan Rodgers will definitely set up a 4-2-3-1 formation. Mark my words with it. He's done it all pre-season. He's not going to change it now. He's a creature of habit, is Brendan. Benji is on number 8 in the midfield. Ta-da! Gives it away. 14 is Luke McCowan, and then there's Arnie Engels. Big season for Luke McCowan and Arnie Engels. Luke McCowan will be wanting to get as much game time as possible. He will try to prove that he's just as good and capable and even better, especially in the domestic game, for the cup runs. Definitely use Luke McCowan in the cup runs. And then you've got Paulo Bernardo. Paulo Bernardo, who was a prodigy of Benfica. And the Portuguese ace hasn't been used fully by Brendan Rodgers. But going into the season ahead, Paulo Bernardo will be a fantastic, important player for the club. Will it be similar to last season where Paulo Bernardo was used more in a European context? It's a big season for Paulo. He'll want to prove that he's better than 11 million man Arnie Engels and Rio Hatate. The good news is the window's closed. There was no bids at all for Rio Hatate or Daisen Maeda. Rio Hatate is our number 41 in the midfield. Will this give him a little bit more time to relax now that the squad is there? He's got better players round about him again after the dismantling of the squad over the summer. Callum McGregor, who gets a lot of stick, he will be the one this year, now that Adam Ida's gone, the firing pins and the targets will be aimed at Callum McGregor. That's my prediction for the season. I don't think it's justified, because I think what Callum brings to the team is a lot more. And if he's getting man-marked out of teams, it's because, that's why they've brought in Benji to sit in the number 8 position beside them, so that there's a little bit of change of formation. And then there's James Forrest, who's classed as a midfielder also. At the grand old age of 189,000 light years, he's been at Celtic. I'm joking. I love James Forrest, and I just take the mickey out his age because he's not the oldest in the squad, really. But he is entering the last year of his contract, and James Forrest will want to go out on a high, not only scoring goals, but winning a treble. Can we win the treble with the squad that we've got? The team across the road are still in all sorts of... Who cares about them? Move on. Forwards, number 7 is our superstar from Portugal, who is out injured. And when he comes back, he's going to be he's going to be like a new signing when he comes back in January. He's not in the Champions League squad. Dream on. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Fuck us, Europa. At this point, you wake up and smell the coffee. It's not been a bad dream. It's been reality. The board fucked up. Let's not get too angry this morning. Jota was our number 7, and he'll come back around about the same time as Alistair Johnston, funnily enough, which will make a great run into the end of the season. Look at the positivity. Our squad will gain in strength in the run into the season in the most important time. Let's get the Premier Sports Cup done and dusted, and let's get that one in the locker, the first one in the bag. And then there's Michael Ange that has come into the squad. People are saying, he's a bit lightweight. One game, you can't tell. And then there's our number 13, unlucky for some. 13's a lucky number for me. Why did Yang get 13? He's been yinging and yanging out the door since the beginning of the summer. And I feel sorry for the lad. I do feel sorry for him. He's shite. Can Brendan Rodgers... I mean, I still think back to that one where he's running up the wing himself and he passes the ball forward. Who was he passing it to? The future Yang? I'll pass it forward and I'll get my DeLorean and I'll come back and I'll appear just at that moment. Fuck, what the fuck are you doing, Yang? And then there's Shin Yamada, who's still, well, he's not our number one striker because Kelechi is now the number one striker. Shin Yamada's got a lot to prove at Celtic. Can he be the replacement for Kyogo Furuhashi? But it's still out on that. Callum Osmond, let's face it, he's a replacement for Daniel Cummins in the squad. That was coming through. Fuck Daniel Cummins. Callum Osmond's a fantastic prospect, youth player that's coming through. Let's not say anything else. And then there's Johnny Kenny. Johnny Kenny maybe thought he was going to go out on loan. All the talk about it from Celtic was, does he go out on loan? Then we sold Adam Ida. The question marks are still there. Who sanctioned the sale of Adam Ida? Did Brendan Rodgers want Adam Ida out? Why didn't we get two strikers in? There's a lot of questions that still need to be answered by Celtic. Will they answer them? Yes or no? In the comments. And then there's Dyson Maeda. Maybe he'll play with a bit of a smile on his face and maybe he'll hit the back of the net. Let's face it, the first couple of years at Celtic, Dyson Maeda's shooting on target wasn't the best. Simply the best. Better than any. Still laughing at the Celtic fans totally owning that song at Ibrox, even though it was a 0-0 draw. If the fans had went on the pitch, they would have got more. There would have been a better game than the team. Let's move on, guys. Let's forget about that game. Anyway, Dyson Maeda is our number 38, and then there's Sebastian, who is not given a number yet. Why not? Whose number is he getting? And then they look at the players that have been loaned out. It's like, oh man. So the official players that have been loaned out by Celtic. And I've got to say, it's vastly reduced. Last season, when you look at the loaned out players, there was around about 14 players that had been loaned out. So Celtic have shrunk the wage bill. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? They've shrunk the wage bill. They've got out players that... There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players out on loan. Last year there was around about 15. 14, 15. Including young players. But the ones who are loaned out until a full season is Rocky, Big Mark Norowski. He's out. Stephen Welsh loaned out to Motherwell, deadline day deal that went through, and I feel sorry for Stephen Welsh because I think he was kind of hoping to get a longer term deal out. Is this just Celtic, someone in Celtic saying, do you know what, mate, we're going to loan you out for a season because you still could have a career at Celtic, let's face it. There's been a lot of Celtic players, defenders. Charlie Mulgrew went away from Celtic, came back, had a fantastic career. It could still happen to Stephen Welsh. Calm down. Don't get your knickers in a twist this morning. Jesus, I only said Stephen Welsh. And then there's Adam Montgomery. And that was a strange one. Although he did go out to Livingston to get some game time. I'm not sure if his contract was extended or what the situation was with Adam Montgomery. And then there's Odom. He comes back in December this year from Los Angeles. That's a come down, isn't it? Been driving about LA. West End of Glasgow. Pissed in the rain. LA, fucking hood down, driving in my 5.0. Just raining, cloudy, fucking driving in my 1.5. And then there's Lewis Palmer, who's out on loan with an option to buy. And then that's it. That's the squad. And we'll be looking forward to see what additions that Brendan Rodgers does promote from the B team, because I think that there is obviously a few that are running around the first team on a weekly basis now, and will they make up the numbers of the squad? It'll be interesting. Definitely Dane Murray, definitely Colby Donovan will make the step up due to the injury to Alistair Johnson. And I think that Dane Murray deserves a good run in the team because he's been ahead of Simpson Posey, and I think he deserves his place in that first team picture, in that web page on Celtic FC. Anyway, Brendan Rodgers and Celtic did speak to the media, kind of, last night through Celtic FC. There was speculation yesterday that he's leaving. He's off. Brendan Rodgers has left Celtic. Dun, 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 dun. It was like the death march on social media yesterday. I did ask the question, is he leaving? I got told it was nonsense, it was probably hun chat. But Celtic Football Club has decided to announce the signing of Kelechi and Iheanacho on a 1-year deal. A 1-year deal, subject to international clearance, and the club have an option of a further year. The 28-year-old Nigerian forward spent 2 years with Manchester City at the start of his professional career. Picked up a League Cup winners' medal during his time at Manchester City. He then joined Leicester and would go on to make over 200 appearances at his time at Leicester, and worked under Brendan Rodgers and won the FA Cup in 2021. 2024, Kelechi moved to Spanish side Sevilla before spending time on loan at Middlesbrough last season. I need to ask, I've got a mate who's a Middlesbrough fan, I need to ask him how he fared at Middlesbrough last season. He's racked up almost 60 international caps for Nigeria throughout his career so far and helped his country to second place finish in the 2023 African Cup of Nations. Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers said, I know Kelechi well and what he can bring to the team. He's such a talented player with great ability and athleticism and work rate. All the things that Brendan Rodgers looks for in a player. I'm sure he will love being at Celtic. I believe our fans will love what he brings. He has great experience and he's at the right peak of his years, so can be a great signing for us. I'm sure he will make a big contribution to the team. Now, people will automatically, and rightly so, point out that Brendan Rodgers finishes up at this end of this year. It looks like Brendan Rodgers will walk away. But it's all speculation. There's nothing to say that is guaranteed. He might have a blinder of a season and everyone might go, Champions. Maybe not, but we will. But hopefully we'll have a fantastic season and we can all settle down a bit. We do need to stick together as a fan base. The fans starting to go in different directions and call for different things and argue amongst yourselves is not the way forward as Celtic fans, and it doesn't have to be that way. Yes, there still needs to be something done about the absolute bollock fucking transfer window, but at least we've got someone in. We were trying to get in 2 loan free players, not 3 like some of you but anyway, that is the Celtic news this morning. I will get this one out straight away. The video that was going to go out at 8:30 Celtic part-time, I'm going to postpone that. I might put that out tomorrow morning now. It is a fantastic interview with a very well-known Celtic blogger, and we talk about Michael Nicholson and the way forward. So I might put that as a premiere for later on this afternoon. In fact, yeah, I'll put that as a premiere for later on this afternoon, around about 4:30 Celtic Park time, or about 4 o'clock Celtic Park time. So look out for that video. It is a long video. Make sure that you share that out. Join in the discussion, because it is talking about what exactly the fan base can do and what's the best thing to do in the way forward. And it also gives you a little insight into the working mind of our very, very quiet CEO, who's currently hiding under his bunker at the bottom of Celtic Park, that just goes on to the tram line that's under Celtic Park that heads off into the city centre, and then there's the other tram line that goes off up into Lennoxtown. We wish.